Hey, good day to you. This is Stan Pierchoski with Pierchoski Estate Law, and this is the Ask Stan show every Thursday at 12 noon, where I answer all your estate planning questions submitted throughout the week. If you have a question about wills, trusts, Medicaid pre-planning, Medicaid crisis planning, the nursing home, or just estate planning in general, just send them to me here on Facebook or call me at 363-7222 or email me at pierchoskiestatelaw@gmail.com. I'll answer them live on WKSR Radio, and we post them here on the Ask Stan show every Thursday. So, let's get right to it.
From the Who, the Stan Pierchoski Oldie of the Week. You got one every week, don't you?
I do, and that one gets you going. That was some great guitar, man.
Well, let me welcome him in. He's already been to the back and checked out the donuts and made his rounds through the building, so he's ready to do it. Good morning to the lovely Alex over there, who runs his camera for him over there, and it's good to see her today. And Stan Pierchoski, ladies and gentlemen, fresh haircut. Not a hair out of place this morning.
Yep.
He's ready to go.
Boy, I tell you, it seems like when I decide to get a haircut, Miss Tammy does my hair. When I decide to get a haircut, it's like, this weekend I never get around to doing it. Then the next week comes, I never quite get around to doing it. Then when I need it, I really need it. So anyway, so I'm looking a little clean cut for you.
All right, well, what you got for us today?
Well, first of all, I'm going to talk about my seminars coming up. I'm doing one in Lawrenceburg. I'm going to do it on May the 6th, which is a Thursday. And that's over at the WLX radio station, at the Country Cafe in the back. As usual, we do them at 1 o'clock and 6 o'clock. So give me a call if you want to RSVP to that. And then the very next Thursday, which is the 13th, I'm going to do one in Pulaski over at the Star Theater. So we'll talk about those more as those get a little closer. But what I want to talk about this morning is a question I've received, and I've got this same question from time to time in one form or another. It's sort of like, why do planning if I'm in debt, or if I don't own much? I mean, why should I have an estate plan? I mean, both of these questions seem to go to the size of the estate. I really think most people assume that the phrase estate planning involves having wealth, or having lots of wealth. I get that a lot. Well, I only thought rich people had trust plans. I mean, that really couldn't be any further from the truth. Planning just simply means that you're preparing for the unexpected and the inevitable. I mean, death doesn't discriminate, okay? It doesn't discriminate according to income level, age, social status. So let's start off by facing the reality that death is certain for everyone. I mean, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but so let's put the size of your estate and any debt that you have aside for a minute. So ask yourself this question. Do I care about burdening my family if something happens to me? The vast majority of people that I speak to, they do care. They do.
Are you saying an estate plan is for your family?
Well, it's a good question, because I often tell people that any estate planning that you do, you don't really do it for yourself. You do it for the ones that you love, because you are making their lives better, not by leaving them wealth, but by making certain decisions that are going to be made that they don't have to. Sometimes if you leave them wealth and wherewithal to take care of what's going in your life, that makes their lives easier. But you keep them out of court, you keep them out of conflict. It just moves smoother for them. So really, like I said, you yourself don't do it much for yourself other than the peace of mind you get for doing it. But you're really doing it for your family, for the people you care. Now, every now and then, I come across someone who comes in and says, I don't care. I'll be dead so they can just fight over everything, right? Well, I mean, that's okay too. I mean, but if that's you, then none of what I'm about to talk about is going to interest you. So, just reach over and turn the volume down on the radio there for a little bit, and I'll be done in about 15 minutes. But, if you don't care about the following things I talk about, then estate planning is probably not a good fit for you. So, if you want to be able to make the choice about where your stuff goes after your death. So, I mean, do you own a car? Most people do. Do you have a wedding ring? I mean, do you own something that's precious or dear to you that you might want someone to have? Well, if the answer to any of those questions is yes, then you have an estate. Wouldn't be able to decide which family members or charities or even which loved ones get the money in the bank account you have, or the life insurance policy, retirement account. You want to have the ability to decide who gets that after you pass away. Do you want to decide for yourself? Do you want to make a decision who you want to make your financial, your healthcare decisions? I mean, if you're not physically, mentally or emotionally able to do it, somebody's got to do it. You want it to be somebody you trust. I mean, hopefully you don't think that you have the ability to telepath your wishes to the physician or to the banker. I mean, if you're unconscious or mentally ill or have some sort of severe dementia, I mean, surely you don't think that your spouse or your children are just automatically allowed to make those decisions. Because if you think that, you need to think again, because that's not the case.
All right, Stan, so if who makes those decisions doesn't happen automatically, who makes them?
Well, if you don't make these decisions of who's going to take care of you during an incapacity or even after death, unfortunately, you've got to go to the court and get a court order. I mean, just because you're married to someone for 45, 50, 60 years doesn't give you authority to make those decisions under the law. Seems like it should, but it doesn't. So, if you haven't given those authority to people, you have to go seek it from the court where your loved ones do. And this is just what I'm talking about when I say you don't do it for you, you do it for them. Let's say you don't do anything, you become incapacitated. Somebody has to make your decisions. You've not given healthcare power of attorney to anybody. They have to go to court, seek a conservatorship, and it is a royal hassle to do that. It's expensive, it takes a long time, it's cumbersome, it's invasive. Anyway, it's a court-ordered power of attorney. So, good question. I mean, you don't do it for yourself. You do it for, these questions are going to be decided. All the answers are going to be given to these questions. The big question is, who's going to make them? You, now, while you're able to pick the people you want, or some stranger in the courthouse that doesn't know. So, anyway, you want to be able to choose who take care of your minor children. You want to be able to choose who's going to take care of maybe a disabled adult child if you've got a special needs child. Or how about your pets after you pass away? You want to be able to choose that? I mean, you really want a stranger in the probate court making those kind of decisions for you? Do you want to designate where you want your money to go if you need full-time health care? I've talked about that, many times on the radio, and we'll probably continue to talk about that. I mean, do you want to decide if your money goes to your family members, a facility, or a healthcare agency? I mean, if you're okay with your life savings going to the nursing home and the government obtaining the proceeds of the sale of your house after you die, then, by all means, don't do an estate plan. I mean, you want to make the decision yourself about who will be your legal representative and who's going to make the decisions about your estate after you die. And like I said earlier, you just want to have the peace of mind, knowing that you've got your affairs in order in the event of an unforeseen death or disability. And, a main reason for not doing proper estate planning is because most people think, I've heard the term, I'm allergic to lawyers. I don't like going to the lawyer's office. I don't trust them. So a lot of people try to attempt to do it yourself. Do yourself an estate plan. They don't have the knowledge that they need, or they don't have the training in the law to really get it done right. They want to save money and avoid having to even call a lawyer in the first place. So.
Hey, so you could do your own estate plan. You could do it, but you're saying it's just not a good idea.
Well, in my opinion, it's not. I mean, theoretically, anything you can in the law you can do without an attorney, including defend yourself against a murder charge.
Yeah.
I mean, we when I used to do criminal work, a lot of people would act pro se. So really, you can do anything. I can hardly think of one thing you have to have an attorney for, but you can do your own estate planning. But the problem is, it has to be done a certain way, and you have to have some knowledge of that to get it done properly. Especially when we talk about some of this estate planning and creditor protection for long-term health care. I mean, those are real eye dotters and T crossers in my mind. So anyway, you wouldn't perform your own health care. You wouldn't perform your own heart surgery or something like that. So, you don't have the college and the years of education and training, so you probably wouldn't want to do this either. Estate planning is like an investment. I mean, it's really not any different than buying insurance, but kind of like the cost of not having insurance. I often used to say insurance, they call it the evil, well, better not say, insurance, you can't live with it, you can't live without it, right? It's like, I don't want to make insurance payments, but if something happens and I get cleaned out, I wish I had. So it's the same thing. I mean, cost of not doing estate planning or trying to do it yourself, in my opinion, really outweighs what the initial investment is in the first place. So I tell you, the messes that my firm has to clean up because of improper planning or not planning at all, I mean, that just very much outweighs the cost of have my firm do the documents for you ahead of time. I've actually got a huge mess waiting for me at the office as we speak. So anyway, there you have it. I was having a little fun with it, being a little facetious, and saying, if you don't care about this, then don't but most people do. I think if you think about it and search your soul, you do care about that. You don't want to create animosity, fighting among your heirs, that sort of thing. So a good way to prevent that is to put something in place. Now that's what we do at Pierchoski Estate Law and Pierchoski Elder Law. We do nothing but planning, and we can help with that. If you got something in mind, regardless of the size of your estate or if you're in debt, anything like that, that doesn't matter. That should not be the decision maker. You being in control of what happens is the most important thing. So put together a plan. It really is for everybody. If we're not going to count the size of the estate or whether or not we're in debt, then it really is for everybody because if you have family, you don't want them going through what they're going to have to go through, or what we see in my office almost on a daily basis. So anyway, give me a call over there on the southeast side of the square, Pierchoski Estate Law and Elder Law, 363-7222, and we'll talk about this. And if you want to learn more about it, I've got my free educational seminars coming up. Got one on Thursday, May the 6th. That's over at WLX, back at the radio station in Lawrenceburg. I'm going to do it at 1 o'clock and at 6 o'clock. Then I'm going to do it the very next Thursday, the 13th. I'm going to do it over at the Star Theater here in Pulaski. We've got a lot of room in the Star to spread out. So we're going to do it there. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do one at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, one at 6 o'clock in the evening. So call us an RSVP for that and get signed up. I mean, it's free. It's no cost. There'll be some light refreshments. Bring your questions. I'll answer them. We don't lock the door and make you sign anything before we let you out. Just come on and learn. Learn about what we do. Learn. If you got questions about this, get them answered. Don't have a question that you just wonder about all the time.
All right, very good. Stan Pierchoski, thank you, sir. We appreciate it. You're here every Thursday morning, 8:30.
I am.
Time with us.
And I usually broadcast this again on my Ask Stan show at 12 o'clock on Thursday. So.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Good to have you today.